Welcome back to our YouTube channel, and today we're talking about Grainfather. Recently, there was an update to the Grainfather G30.
Yes, that's right, Rob. The Grainfather G30v3 okay, came out, and it brought along with its already tried and tested and much loved features some upgrades that had been derived from its bigger brothers, the G40 and the G70.
Yeah. So basically, they've taken the learnings from both of those and updated the G30.
Yes. But one thing that I absolutely love about Grainfather is that whilst they bring out incremental updates, as they've done with most of their brewing systems over a period of time, and new innovations like the smaller glycol chiller, the GC2, what they also do is bring upgrades for existing users so that your brewing system that you've already got isn't redundant. And that's what we're here to talk about today, right? Grainfather have released the malt pipe that comes with the Grainfather G30v3 now as an optional extra. So if you've got one of the earlier models of Grainfather, in the same way that they brought the Bluetooth controller out for the original Grainfather, you can now get your hands on the new malt pipe, which has none of the pipe work in the middle and takes all of the benefits that have been learnt from the G40 and G70 V2.
Yeah. So that includes all of the G30s that you've ever purchased. It's the G30v3 upgrade to any of the previous models.
Absolutely. Yeah. They don't just stop there though, they've also brought out another new upgrade which we're going to take a close look at today. And that, Rob, is a filter plate that goes into the bottom of the G30 to act as a hop filter, a secondary filter if you keep the existing filter on. And again, it's learnt directly from the way that they've managed that kind of system in the G40 and G70.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the malt pipe first, starting with this bottom plate.
Yes. Now, we've already featured this in the video that we did for the Grainfather G30v3. You can check that out up here. But for the purposes of this video, we're just going to talk through it in a little bit more detail. So what did they alter with this versus the previous models?
Okay, so that used to seal with a silicone seal around the outside. Now, it was fiddly to get on and keep on. Didn't affect the Grainfather in its actual use. No. But the user experience, it was slightly awkward to get that the silicone seal on and keep it on.
Yeah, and they did bring out rolled edged plates, didn't they, that would work with the existing pipe work. But this update, they've also removed the central pipe work with the overflow, right? Because they've reworked the malt pipe.
Exactly, and this is a solid old bit of metal. This, it's a substantial piece. Just sits straight into the bottom of the malt pipe.
Yep.
So that drops in.
And then the malt pipe itself, they've re-engineered the perforations in the malt pipe, basically again learning from the way the G40 works. So you've got perforations down these on the other side of these channels here, which allow wort to flow through, and then there's perforations around the rim at the bottom, which again allows wort to flow through more freely.
What it's done is basically increase the surface area for the wort to filter out of. It's made it much more efficient.
And as we've said previously, going in with this type of malt pipe is an absolute joy.
It's way easier, not having to worry about that centre pipe stuff going down there,
splitting the seal underneath. So that's the malt pipe. But the new upgrade then is the filter plate for the bottom of the G30, and this is really nicely engineered. Same as you said with the base plate there. It's a
it's a solid ball,
really solid. You've got a couple of nice little handles there for putting it in and out. You get a really nice tight seal around the bottom.
So you keep the original filter on.
So if you flip it over,
the hop filter.
You've got legs under there, and the clearance for the legs means that you've got enough room for the existing like silicone sealed filter that pushes over the flow.
The outlet.
The outlet fits on perfectly. But when you put it in, it clears it, and you've got this little dished area, which means that you've still got good contact with the element underneath as well. All right. Now, this is an awesome upgrade and something that users have been shouting out for a very long time. There's been people that have used other systems versions of it. They don't quite work particularly well, and that's one of the reasons why we've never really stocked those or talked about them.
Actually, because it can cause more problems than it solves.
Yeah, whereas this is engineered by Grainfather, tried and tested, and we know it's going to work brilliantly with your Grainfather G30. I think, Rob, that's, you know, the features and the new products. There's only one thing for us really to do, and that's test both of these out on one of our G30s and brew some beer. How do you fancy it?
Well, let's get a brew on.
Right, Rob, we're done with Brew Day using the new accessories for the Grainfather. How did you find it?
Well, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. There's no doubting that one of the downsides of the original G30 is sometimes the pump can clog, and like turning the pump on and off would help with that.
Or during the boil, maybe when you're stirring, you accidentally knock off the filter.
That can happen for some people, So these new additions, well, it's completely transformed that. A, you can't accidentally knock a filter off. And secondly, we were pumping out of the G30 into the fermenter, and the flow rate is way up.
Yeah, definitely. So a word on the recipe that we brewed. We made an old school kind of American West Coast pale ale, right? We
wanted to give it a proper test.
Yeah, 5 kilos of low colour Marisota, half a kilo of Simpson's T50 Crystal, and then we used 200 grams of Cascade throughout the boil.
And they were pellets.
Yes. So 100 grams, 80 grams throughout the boil at 20-gram intervals, and then 120 grams in the whirlpool. So that's 200 grams of T90 pellets that we put into there. And like you said, transfer out was an absolute breeze.
And actually, because of our vast experience brewing on the Grainfather systems, actually we know that would have been a really slow transfer, and no chance of whirlpool, and that would have been a real slow transfer. So that has massively improved it.
A couple of other things, you know, the basket, we've talked about the basket in other videos, but it continues to be something that we're really pleased with. I've got one of these at home now as well when I'm brewing on my G30 at home, and it just makes brew day simpler. Not only going in, digging out, I quite like to not tip the basket. I like to dig it out and then empty the last few bits, but also clean up, because you've only got one plate, no seals, no pipe work. It just makes it so much quicker.
Absolutely. Couple of things we'll say. So the filter at the bottom left slightly more wort in the bottom of the G30 than it would have done if it hadn't have been there. We did see that.
I think that's probably about experience using the new plate, because now we've done it a couple of times and we probably know that, okay, well, once we think we've got to the bottom, we might want to tilt the G30 a little bit. You know, I've seen people like wedge a book underneath it or something, just to get that last bit of wort out. But the other thing that really surprised me is, and I don't know whether this is to do with like the way the filter plate works with the element, but the boil rate.
Yeah, it was much higher, and actually interestingly, it was so much higher that Grainfather need to take it into account in their software.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because obviously the evaporation rate is going to be much higher.
Completely.
It was that much different.
Super vigorous, right? Yeah. You'll see in some of the footage that we've got from the brew day, it was like, you know, really, really vigorous. Which is good. You want that, especially if you're making something with like a lager malt and you want to drive off any DMS. But it's a really good upgrade, and I think something that is going to be really popular for existing G30 users. Rob, then, what's your final thoughts on the two accessories then from Grainfather?
I think they both work really well. this is absolutely fantastic for me,
Yeah.
because it just takes all of that worry about the pump blocking completely away.
Yeah, and cleanup again was really, really good on this, wasn't it?
Yeah, sure, actually, because all the pellet hops stay on there, and you can just lift it all out as one solid mass.
Yeah.
And then we just showered it off with the shower tap. It works really well.
Yeah. So if you've enjoyed this video, or if you've got some of these upgrades yourself, we want to hear about it. So drop us some information in the comments below. Let us know your thoughts about these upgrades from Grainfather. Now, we absolutely adore the Grainfather brewing systems. You can brew beer in so many different ways. The convenience and the platform with the app and all of the recipes do make the system something that we're really fond of here. You can fit life in around it, basically, can't you?
Yeah, these all-in-one brewing systems are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell for notifications.
And of course, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.